This is lesson 11.3, circles and circumference. Big Ben is a famous clock tower in London, England. The diameter of the clock face is 23 feet. What point appears to be at the middle of Big Ben? It appeared to be point D, right here. How does the distance from AC, this distance right here, compare to the distance from BD, from B to D? It would appear to me that BD is about half, is half of AC. So if that's true, if the distance from A to C, which is that diameter, is 23 feet, I would simply divide that by 2, and then D to C would be 11.5 feet. A circle is a set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a given point called a center. You can see that in the diagram. The diameter of a circle is 2 times the radius, or D equals 2R. Another relationship that is true of all circles is C divided by D equals 3.1415926. This non-terminating and non-repeating number is represented by the Greek letter pi. An approximation often used for pi is 3.14. A key concept: the circumference of a circle is equal to its diameter d times pi, or 2 times its radius r times pi. So C equals pi d, or C equals 2 pi r. When finding the circumference of a circle, it is necessary to use an approximation of pi, since its exact value cannot be determined. Refer to the lesson opener. Find the circumference of Big Ben's face. Well, they told us that the diameter was 23 feet. So we would estimate 3 times 23, which is a little bit of an underestimate. It gives us 69 feet. We then substitute 3.14 for pi and use 23 again as our diameter. We get 72.22. If we round that to the nearest tenth, that would be 72.2. So the diameter, or the circumference actually, is approximately 72.22 feet. Remember, because pi is not an exact number. Find the circumference of each circle. Use 3.14 for pi. Round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So, for example, A, we're going to use, because we have radius, we're going to do circumference equals 2 pi r. So that's 2 times pi, which we're going to write as 3.14, times our radius, which is 4. Which gives us a circumference of 25.12, and that's feet, which we would then round to 25.1 feet. In example B, because they give us the diameter, we're going to use the formula C equals pi d. Again, we'll use 3.14 for pi. Our diameter is 63, so 3.14 times 63 gives us an answer of 197.82, which we would round then to 197.8, and in this case, it's inches instead of feet. Another approximation for pi is 22/7, the improper fraction. Use this value when the radius or diameter is a multiple of 7. When the radius or diameter is a multiple of 7, or has a multiple of 7 in its numerator if the radius is a fraction. We'll show you a couple examples of that. Find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 21 inches. 21 is a multiple of 7. So instead of 3.14 for pi, we use 22/7 for pi, because that allows us right here to simplify before we multiply. And so we have 66 times 2, which gives us a nice easy multiplication of, or product of 132 with some easy multiplication. Example C, because 70 is a multiple of 7, we're going to find circumference by using pi d because we have diameter here instead of radius. We're going to use 22/7 for pi. We're going to take that times 70 over 1. We're going to simplify here, and we find the circumference to be 220 inches. In example D, they give us radius, so we're going to use circumference equals 2 pi r. So 2 times pi, which in this case we're going to use 22/7 because 7/8 has 7 in the numerator, which allows us to simplify here and here. Now we can also simplify here and here by dividing these by 2. This gives us 11 here. This gives us 4 here. We can continue to simplify here and here. This gives us 1 here and 2 here. So we, after all that simplifying, we have 11 over 2, which we would then rewrite as a mixed number of 5.5 feet would be the circumference of our circle. Find the circumference of each circle. Use 3.14 or 22/7 for pi, round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So number 1, they give us radius. In this case, it's not a multiple of 7, so we're going to use the formula circumference equals 2 pi r. We're going to use 3.14 for pi and 5 for our radius. What we're going to do is use the commutative property here and multiply 2 times 5 and get 10 first. I won't show you that changing of the order of the factors, but that's what I did here. So I get 31.4, in this case, feet for my circumference. Number 2. They give me diameter here, so I'm going to use circumference equals pi times diameter. 3.14 for pi again, because 11 7/10 I don't believe is divisible by 7 or a multiple of 7, so I'm going to multiply 3.14 times 11.7, which is going to give me a circumference of 36.738, but again in my instructions I'm told to round to the nearest tenth if necessary, so 36.7, in this case meters, is my circumference in number 2. Number 3, now they do give me diameter, and they do give me a diameter that's a multiple of 7, so I'm going to use the formula pi d. Pi, I'm going to use this time 22/7. I'm going to take that times 14 over 1. I'm going to simplify here and here, which gives me a circumference of 44 meters. Nice, easy multiplication. In number 4, again, they give me radius this time, so my formula changes slightly to pi r. But again, they give me a multiple of 7 as a radius, so it's 2 times 22 over 7 times 42 over 1. I can simplify here and here. Gives me 6 here. Gives me 44 times 6. With the distributive property, that's an easy multiplication. 240 plus 24 gives me 264 inches for my circumference. My last problem. To the nearest tenth, how many centimeters does the tip of the minute hand of the clock shown travel each hour? Well, in an hour, the minute hand makes 1 revolution, which in this case would be equal to the circumference of the circle. Because they give me a diameter, I'm going to use circumference equals pi d. 21.4 is not divisible by 7, so I'm going to use 3.14 times 21.4. Should get an answer of around 60, which is an underestimate. I haven't been doing a very good job of estimating so far. Students should. 3.14 times 21.4 is 67.196, which would then round to 67.2. And in this case, it's going to be centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vocabulary terms: circle, center, diameter, circumference, radius, and pi. We've defined pretty much all of those in the lesson. Students should have them in their notable, memorize them, and be ready to define them on a test. At this point, you should stop the video, go to NICU at www.nicu.net, and look for Lesson Quiz 11.3. Log in using your student number. And your password then is a repeat of the student number and your complete last name. Thanks for